it's Candace with Grow Local, and if this year you picked up your in-ground container packs, what you should have are a couple of tomato seedlings, a couple of kale, maybe some onions, and you will have a bunch of seeds. You might have, this is a sample bag, not all of them will have been the same, but you will have bush beans, lettuce, carrots, I just dropped the cucumber, squash, parsnips, and you will also have a load of compost from Earth, Land, and Sea. You should have a couple buckets of it, which is absolutely beautiful stuff for growing in, you guys. I've had success with it for several years now, so I won't be saying anything nasty about them. If you don't have it, just make sure that your garden soil is good for vegetables. If it's really, really full of clay, you might want to amend it. We will go into more detail on that another day. But for now, what you just want to make sure is that you've got nice, loose soil. If it's got lots of clay in it, that's absolutely fine. That stuff retains nutrients like crazy, and it's good for growing in. If you'll notice here, I have a couple rows of carrots that I did already. Carrots are notorious for drying out. They're a little teeny tiny seed. They love to be close to the surface, but you've got to keep them damp all the time. One trick that I have heard of and seen people have a lot of success with it is they sow the seeds and then they water them in and then they put a board on top, and the board stops the moisture from leaving as quickly. And you just keep picking that board up every day, and after a couple of weeks, all of a sudden you're going to see little green things starting to come up. Then get rid of the board and they will grow just beautifully for you. You can sow them every couple of weeks too. If you're real big carrot eaters, you can do a couple rows, maybe 3 or 4 weeks later, do another couple rows, and then you will always have them at the right size when you're ready to eat. If you're going to plant squash, I usually do it at the front because it trails over, and that's when I do the patty pan. Patty pan are my favorite. They're not a huge plant. They're really good for in containers, so if you're stuck for room, you can do that too. But the plant typically only gets about that big around and maybe that long. So I plant mine, and you can see I've done 3 here. And they will grow up and they will get lots of sunshine and they'll give me lots of wonderful little squash, but they're not going to block the sun and they're not going to impede the people that walk down my sidewalk. On this end, I get most of the sun, so this is typically where I grow my herbs, and I will put tomato plants and peppers down at this end too. And if you can see my big old sticks, I'm going to be putting wire, and I'll run the wire from here over to the other bed. And in front of that, that's where I'm going to be growing my peas, and they grow up. You could do that with your cucumbers. You can do that if you've got the zucchini squash, the regular long green ones. They are really good for trellising. Keeps the bugs away for the most part. It's clean, and you get more bang for your buck because you still got lots more space for growing. And like I said, I'm going to be having tomatoes and peppers and what will look like way too much basil, but is never enough in this bed. So on that note, it's easy peasy. Just think what you want to eat the most of. Think about when you want to eat it and not run out. And think about how the sun is going to hit and where you're going to walk. And you're good to go.